'cause you don't know nothing clearly. You can talk about me, but I don't owe you nothing, yeah. Living my life. Yeah, I'm just living my life. Let me tell you something, 'cause you don't know nothing clearly. You can talk about me, but I don't owe you nothing, yeah. Living my life. Yeah, I'm just living my life. Let me tell you something, 'cause you don't know nothing clearly. You can talk about me, but I don't owe you nothing, yeah. Living my life. Yeah, I'm just living my life.
As always, we're loving local music here. It's Ethnics with Living My Life. I love this track, man. Good morning, welcome to the Morning Mix. You are live on Informanté Radio with Cubase and Maria. Tuba. Oh, that's what we're going with now. Morning, Tuba.
Morning.
Welcome back. Day 6 of the lockdown.
Who's counting?
I'm counting.
Yeah?
Yeah, I can't wait to get to 21.
Then you just have to hope there's no extension.
Yes, I hope so. Ooh, I hope so. How's the days going by?
Still busy with school, so. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got schoolwork, man.
Yeah,
Lucky you.
schoolwork.
At least you got something to do when you're at home. All right, good morning to you guys also joining the live stream this morning. Meneer Kleinschmidt and Meneer Scriven, I see the both of you jumped on quite early. We appreciate having you here this morning. Just a quick update, I guess, before we get into anything for this morning. Our health minister did confirm 2 new cases of COVID-19 yesterday, which brings the Namibian total now to 13 infections.
Well, not really. 13 reported, but there's 2. Actually, there's going to be a 3rd recovery. So active, it will be around 10 active cases.
10 active, yeah.
Yeah, because the German is the patient number 3 is set to go home soon. He's recovered. Obviously, the Romanian couple have already recovered. So we have 3 recoveries, 10 active. But the latest 2 are as a result of contact with patient number 9, which was a 35-year-old woman from. I think they're near the coast.
My understanding is like that's the husband and
the child.
And a child, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. It kind of begs the question, though. So, is this sort of one of those things that we should really be celebrating? Because it seems, at least at the moment, that there's not really local transmissions. Most of it's just people who are coming in from outside who are contracting the virus outside our borders and then coming in here.
Yeah, but you also need to remember that it would always be easier. It will always be easier to get the stats or to find it with people that are coming in, because those are the only ones getting tested now. Remember, if you call that toll-free number, they ask you, did you come in? Did you recently travel, or did you come in contact with somebody that recently traveled?
Yeah.
So it's for us to say it's not domestic. It's not being passed around. It's actually not true, because they did say they're going to scale up their testing.
The testing,
yeah.
Yeah, like it's what I'm saying. I mean, you want to believe that, okay, the virus is really not here because of the stats that we're getting. But me personally, I'm just not convinced that we have the full picture quite yet.
No, I mean, nobody's convinced, if we're going to be honest. Yesterday, the figures, the health minister announced that they've just done up to now 306 tests, 150 by NIP and 156 by Pathcare via South Africa.
Yeah.
So even Pathcare is doing more than the local lab.
And the NIP, and they are sending theirs to SA.
Yes, exactly. And the NIP is actually the one with the responsibility or given the mandate to do the testing.
But these are the kind of things that sort of raise red flags for me, because just the other day the minister was quoted as saying we had only tested 40 people. The same minister, health minister. Mm-hmm. So it kind of raises red flags, like, is there something going on behind the scenes that perhaps we don't know about? Let's hope not. Let's hope it's just a little bit of paranoia because we are stuck in our houses. Cabin fever.
Yeah.
Interesting. South Africa also, what was the number this morning?
I can check.
Yeah, you must have your app.
Yeah, I have mine.
Even Shines was showing off with the app the other day. It's like, yo, man, I got this thing. This thing is so nice. I'm like, oh, isn't that the same thing that Mary was sharing on the group the other day?
So in South Africa, as of today, we have 5 dead, 50 recoveries, and 1,325 active.
Okay, so the number is still climbing, but not so dramatically. At least not like in the developed world as we are seeing.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hope that our numbers stay low. Botswana also starting to report a few cases. They had stood at 0 for quite some time.
Yeah. But I think Botswana, as much as I was, took my hat off to them, I think they're going to they're having, because they already have 1 deceased.
Yeah.
I mean, and they just got it.
So some of the first
yesterday. So they've got 3 active and 1 deceased. And I mean, I was taking my hat off to Botswana, but the truth of the matter is that I think they're in a similar situation we are in terms of no capacity
to test. Yes.
To test, or little to no capacity to test. Because I mean, 1 person already dead so quickly.
It wasn't picked up, not even early enough. And it's, at some point, we're going to start overwhelming the labs in South Africa as well, because Namibia will be sending, Botswana will be sending.
I think Pathcare actually stopped sending, That's what I saw on social media. Somebody tried to go get, because they tried to go to Robert Mugabe Clinic here, that's reserved now, they said, for the COVID patients, and tried to call the toll-free number and all this because she was having problems breathing and so forth, and she wouldn't get assistance. So she tried to go, obviously, the private route, going to the doctor and trying to get a referral so that she can get tested at Pathcare, and they said they're not testing anymore. Or that's what she was informed, and she tweeted about it.
Interesting. So now NIP are the only ones who are doing the testing here.
Basically. If her information is correct. This is not confirmed. Just to be clear, it's not confirmed.
All right. We will will the government on to really ramp up the testing. That is one of, I guess, the cornerstones also of combating the virus, is knowing where it is. Figuring out how it's spreading and who has it, who has had it, who has healed, how they recovered, and stuff like that. But yeah.
But it just seems, no, it just seems never ending. I in the next 2 months, the cases are obviously increasing. Is it now that we're going to have a life of kids going to school with masks and gloves? And
that's
like,
be
it seems like, because I don't see an end to this thing.
Kids.
I'm not trying to be pessimistic, but...
look, I think it's going to be here much longer than the 21 days. I mean,
for the whole year, if we're being honest.
Imagine China. China went into lockdown, and then they finally started easing up, some of the restrictions. And then they realized most of the new cases that they are picking up are people who are flying into China. So they were considering closing down their borders again. So, it's become a thing of, like, so even if we get rid of it, unless it is, I guess, alleviated everywhere in the world, it's going to be one of those risks that we're going to have to live with.
Yeah, because the world can't shut down for a whole year.
Yeah.
Where's money going to come?
I mean, there are presidents like, what's the guy from, is it Belarus, who was standing on the ice ring with his ice hockey gear, talking about all you have to do is just go drink a little vodka and so on, and that's going to kill the virus. They don't need to lock down their country. I think they still have sports going on in Belarus at the moment.
But this virus is exposing a lot of things. I think the biggest shock for me is how the USA is taking the knock.
Yeah.
This first world country, superpower, as we were told.
But those warnings were given to the US. I was watching an interview with Mr. Bill Gates from 2015, where he was describing, like, basically America, the world, but obviously talking about America, are not ready for, especially a respiratory kind of pandemic that spreads easily from person to person.
Got a poor health system.
Yes.
And I mean, for anybody that's curious, active cases is 201,312. So in excess of 200,000.
In the States.
In the States. The deceased 5110, so in excess of 5,000. And recoveries 8878, which is closer to 9,000 recoveries. But like in excess of 5,000 dead. In excess of 200,000.
They are now leading the world. America #1 as always.
Well, what was the worst one prior before to that? No, I think Italy is still leading.
With the deaths.
Yes. No. Isn't Italy still leading?
I'm not sure. I think they have surpassed. Oh, I know they are ahead with the amount of active cases or reported cases. I'm not sure if they have surpassed Italy with the deaths. Spain is also looking horrible at the moment, guys, and France seems to be heading in that direction as well.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I think it was the Swedish Prime Minister or somebody who was saying they haven't locked down their country because they've been practicing social distancing their whole lives. Like, basically, we don't really touch each other in this country, so we're good.
Yeah, even Sweden is 239 dead, and over 4,600 active. It's bad.
It's bad everywhere.
It's bad. United Kingdom in excess of 2,000 dead, 26,000. It's just...
And these are the guys where the numbers are still climbing. Imagine like the States, right? They're already at 200,000, and that number is nowhere near its peak. That number is still increasing. The new cases are still increasing each and every day. So
you're actually correct. Italy's active is just over 80,000. Okay, obviously the death toll is in excess of 13,000, so they took quite a hit there, and recovery is 16,000. But the active cases are less than the States.
In the States, yeah.
The States is over 200,000. Italy's 80,000 in excess. So yeah, I think the States is currently leading in numbers, but it just exposes this is a country that's been bragging to be doing so well, and this virus has just exposed their health system.
It's crazy how tone deaf their president is. These guys are supposed to be in briefings, and he's supposed to get the information before everybody else. Like I was listening to him go on about how it's amazing to him how all the hospitals all of a sudden need 30,000 ventilators when normally you just need 20,000, or 2,000 or whatever. I'm like, what do you mean all of a sudden? It's a bloody pandemic. That's where the all of a sudden came from.
That attacks the respiratory system.
Exactly. It's not like everybody woke up and decided, okay, we're going to order 30,000
I can't breathe,
ventilators.
I just want a ventilator.
Exactly. But luckily we have, I guess, a more subtle leadership. I'm trying to find
for us, I think, in all honesty, we shouldn't be having this problem. Not because of lack of equipment, of course, that's an issue. I'm just saying we are a small population with vast space. That you would think would work in our favor.
Yeah, but we're also cramped in the same metropolitan
at the same time
areas
without water and hygiene.
We have
measures.
A lot of vast space inhabited only by animals, and then we are cramped up in these small metropolitan areas. Yeah, if you have a farm right now, quarantine is no thing. You just go to the farm, you and your family, and then you can be touching your face the whole damn time. Yeah. All right, let's pay some attention to the comments for this morning. Colin Engelbrecht saying, watching from Rehoboth. Thank you for joining us this morning. Dankie Gauses. Also joining the show, Tanya Forster, good morning. Good morning to you as well. Gertrude Mwahi, good morning to you all. Morning crew, I'm watching from Swakopmund. Titaga Mohammed. David Alwendo Nambili, good morning. Watching from Okalongo. A lot of good mornings here. Where's my homeboy Bason, asks Panduleni Abraham. Neville is only going to be back tomorrow. We're actually alternating.
Yep, in case you haven't noticed.
Yes. Actually, to tell you guys the truth, Neville and Maria had a fight, so they can't be in the studio at the same time. So now I have to, choose who I want to sit with every morning. Anyway, he is going to be back in the studio tomorrow. Lily Gary says, watching from Leonardville. Okay. It's good to see the network is working properly there. Good morning, watching from Eros, from Salomon Gamatam. Wow. Streaming. Tatinawanes. Semi actually wanted us to call him this morning. He offered to just move around, especially the neighborhood, his neighborhood, and then we can just call him and he gives us an update of what it looks like.
But can the listeners hear? Is it connected so that when...
It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be. Let's go with that for now. Hey, he was telling me anyway yesterday morning after the show, like he was watching the show and then afterwards he just went for a little drive. And like Evelyn Street, it looked like almost like business as usual. That's how much movement there was. Obviously all the bars look closed, but somebody is selling somehow.
9 Namibians.
Yes. I even got an invite from, I'm not going to say who, but somebody invited me for beers at the Roof of Africa. Aren't they supposed to be closed? At least the alcohol department. But in any case, let's read some more comments. Bernard Lowe, it's worrying that we are not testing. Looks like so many other countries have prioritized testing. Yes, apparently we don't have the materials. Is this true? Yes. We do not really have that. Nobody had testing equipment or the testing kits for COVID-19 because honestly, nobody could have foreseen this coming. But that is why
not even, for me, it's not even a foreseen coming. Up until this virus, we were taking our lab testing like to SA.
Yeah, everything.
Everything.
Gets to SA, yeah.
You need this tested, you send it to SA. You need that tested, you send it to SA. I mean, at some point we have to take ownership and say, why didn't we build the capacity of our laboratories?
You remember there's it's a question that one reporter asked the president at one of those press conferences, especially in the beginning. It's like, and they were referring to our food supply. Mm-hmm. It's like, is this like a sort of a learning curve since now we're closing the borders and most of our food, most of our products are coming from South Africa. Is this now us learning that we need to somehow become self-sufficient? And the president was like, no, we learned that at independence already.
But it's been...
Yeah, but like, when you look around, it doesn't look like we have really learned. But yeah. So to sort of mitigate the issue, though, government has set aside this $8.1 billion fund to sort of help mitigate some of the effects that this COVID-19 is going to have on our economy.
Yeah, the 8.1 package that they say, economic package, as they call it, the finance minister called it, it's really for low-income earners. It is for business owners. So they're looking at those type of protections, like people that have been retrenched, for them to get some grant. The informal settlement vendors that can no longer sell, like the ones that stand in front of stadiums or wherever to just sell their goods because they're not allowed to be there anymore. People like that to get like a once-off grant. I think it's in the amount of 750.
Like a once-off grant of 750.
Well, because it's supposed to be till the 21st, right? Obviously, they're hoping that
it doesn't go
further than that.
Deeper than that.
Yeah, so obviously they're only making provisions until the 21st of April.
But then how like, because, everybody's going to take a hit one way or the other. I mean, you are lucky if your employer is still going to pay you your full salary. But in most cases...
Yeah, I think that was also noted. I think they said the company should perhaps negotiate with their staff about taking like a 40% less of like a salary cut instead of the 20%. I think they are trying to avoid retrenchments. So you say instead, if you can, rather reduce their salaries by...
Cut the wage bill a little bit.
Yeah, cut so that you can keep then saying everybody should go home. And that's kind of to protect the employers. But I think also that the government would then, with that 20%, that the government would somehow step in and assist.
And assist with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how. Sense. I don't think they're going to give you if let's say you are earning 150,000 and you're getting a pay cut, I don't think they're going to make up that 20% of your 150 and pay you
Exactly.
the
It's like, yeah. Okay, it's going to be something interesting, though. How do you determine who gets what? I guess it's further discussions that are going to have to go on. Like you're saying, I mean, somebody earns 150. Takes a 20% pay cut. That's like
30,000.
30,000, yeah, which is like probably double what somebody else earns.
Yeah,
as
exactly.
a total.
Yeah, exactly. Or 3 times more than some people earn.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah, it's going to be interesting, and also businesses, of course. The one issue that especially the developed world was having when they were trying to work out some of these stimulus packages is they do not want the money to go like to help the rich. Sort of, some people are trying to avoid having to take a loss, so they sort of pass their losses on to the employees, for instance, and then they take also the bailout package from the government, which sort of just makes the problem worse, putting the money in the wrong hands, so to speak.
Yeah. I don't, to be honest, I don't know how they're going to give relief. I mean, like for me, if, for example, if I get a 20% pay cut, then I should be excused from paying rent. Then I'm good.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
But then your landlord is going to be
That's
like,
what I'm
no.
saying. The banks then have to make... So that's what I'm saying. I don't know how they're going to figure this thing out because bills still need to be paid.
Yeah.
Service providers are still knocking at our doors.
Yes.
So I'm interested to see how this thing goes. I just know...
me too.
Yeah. I just know that something eventually got to give.
What I would love to be is a part of the discussion now.
Yeah. My worry is that after this, all of us are in debt, heavy debt.
Yeah. It's one of those things that I've been thinking, though. How do you think it's going to affect, like, prices? Let's say by June, July. Because, remember, everybody's taking a hit, and then we're going to spend... some people will take probably the rest of the year. That's granted that the lockdown is only the 21 days to sort of get back to your normal financial, I don't know if I should call it routine or situation, because now you're going to spend time trying to pay some of these things that, fell by the wayside because of everything that is happening now, because the money dried up. And you're paying back debts, you're paying bills, you're backdated goede wat jy moet nog afbetaal. So it's going to be interesting how it affects, for instance, rent. Are you still going to be able to charge, like, let's say, 6,000 for a 2-bedroom flat after, say, June?
Yeah, prices, they were already declining.
Yeah.
But, my thing is that a lot of tenants are not going to pay. And you're not going to be able to kick them out. But then the thing is now you have a tenant that's kind of indebted to you, and how do they settle that bill? Is it now, let's say the rent was 6,000, they start paying 8,000, that 2,000 to make up for, or like how is it going to work? But also if somebody was paying 6,000, it's because they couldn't afford 8,000.
Yes.
So...
and imagine some of them were even struggling to pay that 6,000. Now you want to push it up.
Yes, exactly. So are you going to write it off? Like... At some point, we need to discuss, or you're just going to throw everybody out on the street, because then you have those vacant houses. It was already so hard to get tenants. So there's a lot of, there's so much to consider. But for me, it's just a never-ending cycle. And I think it's worse because I'm actually realizing that a lot of people had side hustles.
Yes. Most of us, really, the way we are able to get through the month is through our side hustles.
Yes.
Your salary takes care of your base expenses,
Yes.
stuff. You make sure you pay rent, you buy food. But then to get through the month, to buy some other stuff.
To make that extra money, you need that extra money for the other stuff, that your salary doesn't cover. And that's the sad reality. And without side hustle, because nobody can function, nobody can operate. Everybody's stressed because it's like the money I should be making right now, I'm not.
And remember, once we come out of this,
people are going to be too broke to also
to be hiring this, or it's going to become one of those things. Everybody wants to negotiate down your price.
Yeah.
To the point where you're barely making anything.
If you even get gigs,
whatever
your hustle is, it's kind of almost a devastating thought. I will say that the people that are fine, it seems, are the doctors, private practices.
Because their industry right now is
If you're sick, you have to go.
essential service.
Yeah, it's an essential service. You're sick, you go there. You have to.
Yeah,
you know.
you don't really have a choice.
Yeah, you don't really have a choice, and it's an essential service. So, I don't think people are becoming healthier staying at home. It's the same thing. If you catch a cold or you have a headache or your child's temperature is up, you're gonna have to go to a doctor. They're making their money one way or the other.
It's quarantining at home. I mean, the majority of the country does not live in houses where you are able to quarantine yourself from the rest of your family inside your house.
Yeah. But those families are not using private doctors either.
Yes.
But I like the fact that it was clarified now that quarantine in your house doesn't mean inside the house, because you need to remember that NDF was enforcing that inside the house. It's been said now, no, your garden and your yard, even if you don't have demarcated yard, so to say,
you can stay within your space.
You can stay within your space. You know, you're not going to find people taking with a chair outside their house, but in front of their house, for example. I'm think about townships, and say that no, go back inside.
Yeah.
And that was happening. So it's been clarified by the Justice Minister, Yvonne Dowsab. And obviously the President also urged the NDF not to treat people like criminals, because that we also saw a bit of that. You know, because somebody answered you with attitude. I don't know if you saw the video from the coast. I think they were asking a question, a lady, and she was just like, yeah, I asked for permission. Like, who did you ask for permission? She was like, oh. And then she was like, can I go? And they were like, oh, you're giving us attitude. And they put her in the back of a car. Just because of their fragile egos, you know. She didn't do anything. But just because they felt like she wasn't, perhaps...
You're not showing me the respect I feel I deserve.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So, I think those type of videos came to the attention of the President, and he was very clear yesterday that the citizens are not criminals, and we're trying to protect them, in fact.
Yeah.
We're not here to treat
them like
that.
Yeah,
and it was like, and even criminals actually have their rights as well, assuming they're criminals, but that's not how we're supposed to be doing this thing. So he did warn law enforcement to kind of take it easy. Yeah.
Let me read some more comments. Dion Kluter, you're only zero when you test everyone and find nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Testing is the key. Test. Numbers will be scary. Just walk 1 to 3 per person on infection. Sorry, good morning. Stay safe, Miriam.
Tuva.
Ralph Low Marenga. Yes, the name is not Maria anymore. It's Tuva. Biza Black, good morning, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Angelique Gangos. Robert Gidipo saying good morning, crew. I added the Smith, actually. It was just Mr. and Mrs. Sarafia Nadunya. Sarafia. Oh, NBC. Bernard Lowe. If we're not going to test, then best we all wear masks. I guess. Jojo Madsen, and here in Denmark, it's 104 deaths, 3,107 infected. It's crazy. Shaks Diofe saying, what will the mask save? The mask will sort of stop you from infecting others if you are infected, and it also will sort of mitigate you getting infected, provided you don't touch your face all the damn time. Herman Jonas, good morning. Thanks for keeping us updated. Stay well. Thank you very much. Michael John Green, good morning. Watching from FedEx. An essential services provider. Okay.
Is FedEx, I think is FedEx an essential service?
No.
Is it supposed? No, it's not asking about that.
No, I'm saying the answer would be no.
I don't think it's an essential.
Yeah.
but I think it's being treated as one in post-Korea. It's being treated because of you don't know what goods are being delivered.
Okay. Philip J. Smith, Klein Smith, rather, joining the show this morning. Mora Philip, ons mis toch jou lekker lunches hierso. Please come back. Asino Kambikiti Erastus. Botswana's healthcare are lying about their cases too, or they also want the piece of cake from World Health Organization, right? It's funny how they just got the first 3 cases in 2 days. They recorded 1 death already. It's possible. It's not an improbable thing. So
it's really not
anyway.
that improbable.
He says coronavirus has stages, Moss. You can't get it today and die in Gula, speaking under correction. They can pick it up today only. You could have had it for weeks, but then your symptoms only manifest today. And of course, once they start manifesting, they just become so serious that you need hospitalization.
Yeah, and you don't know what other conditions the person might have had. That's also why Zimbabwe has... it was the media personality. He was dealing with he had surgeries prior to this and others, so he wasn't having the strongest immune.
The body was not as strong as
and he died within, I think, a day or two of being admitted in hospital.
Yes, it is possible. It's not, the rules are not the same across the board for everybody. I mean, like we have been saying, some people are even fighting the virus off on their own, and they're getting better. But the problem is, of course, they do infect others while they are infected before they do fight off the virus. Other people get some serious symptoms. Other people get mild symptoms. Other people need hospitalization.
Yeah.
So, Bernard Lowe, I'm positive but asymptomatic, then I protect you, and vice versa. About what the mask will save. All right, thank you for clearing that up. Carmen Kaiser, watching from Keetmanshoop. Epson Hoibep, considering that 90% of the youth in Namibia are renters, I have not seen or read a directive from government about the pay holidays on the renting population. That is the one thing that I was thinking as well, because the majority of us are renting. So rent is going to become the biggest headache, especially if the lockdown drags on.
Apart from all of that, apart from the fact that we are renters, a bulk of our paychecks go to rent.
Yes.
Just rent. Forget the food or your car or your insurance or your medical aid or whatever else. A bulk of all, like especially the youth or like that age group that's renting, that's a bulk of their salaries going to rent, because that's not regulated. It's like in the bank, if you want a car, they can only take a certain percentage of your salary. So they can tell you can't afford this, and if you want this, you have to put this much deposit to bring it down to this amount, because that's regulated. The bank can't take so much money.
They can't take like 80% of your salary paying for a car.
But with rent, nobody's checking that. You know, yes, they will ask. Sometimes they'll ask for your payslip, but they don't care as long as they get their rent. If you're like, I want a $10,000 apartment, but I only earn 15. That tenant is not going to say, I wouldn't advise this, because you'll only be left with 5, and what can you really do with 5?
You're going to be struggling to get through the month every month.
Exactly. He's not going to say that. He just wants his rent.
Give me my money.
No, 15 days a year, you can't bekostig. Baie dankie. You know?
It's difficult. And you know, it's tricky because most of the landlords, so to speak, you know, some of them will tell you, they need to get a holiday from the bank as well. On their mortgages and so on. But then not all of the guys who are renting out these spaces still have bank payments to make on them. Some of them are little apartments that they built themselves. Some of them, because some people live in those backyard flats, which I'm sure not many people finance through the bank. A lot of people just finance those on their own. So does that person still need to get some sort of holiday from the bank before they can give you, the renter, a holiday?
I don't know what's going to happen. But I mean, even apart from that, like education is for free. But even I was just thinking private schools. Like private schools here are very expensive. And usually if on a normal function economy, it's not a problem, right? If you take your kids to a private school, it's because you can afford it. But then what happens
now in this situation?
Now, during this situation, are the schools going to say, oh, well, you know.
Hey, they want their school fees. They want their school fees. Like, hello, we have to pay our teachers. Please give us the school fees. Abel Shocks Nepolo, good morning, watching from Zimbabwe. Good morning, welcome to the show. Bernard Lowe, a lot of people show no symptoms, but they infect others without knowing. Yes. Simon Liamanguluka Bango, all right? Morning from Windhoek. Where in Windhoek are you? How is it looking like in your area, Simon? Let us know. Avondre Karuhumba. We don't have interesting names. I feel the whole pandemic could have been avoided if the world locked down already when they found out about China at first, and even us as Namibia when it started spreading. We were supposed to block traveling and flying way back before the cases. Look, that is it's the most sensible thing that we could have done. But then look at how much disarray our economy is being thrown into. And imagine if we had been in lockdown since like February.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. It's like there's something that I give. I know, for example, the economists of this world, particularly the Namibian ones, I'm talking about the Roland Browns and whatever, they said, oh, well, even when the measures were announced by government, by the president, I remember Roland Brown going on social media and complaining that it's a bit too much for only a country. I think at the time we were only on maybe 4 or 5 cases.
Yeah.
It's like, this is a bit too much for a country with only 3 or 4 cases or 5 cases or whatever that was.
Yeah.
We must be careful. And, obviously he thinks like a capitalist, must be careful, job losses that this is going to create by going into lockdown with so many with such few cases. And we should be able to like basically function as normal. But to the next person, it's like, no.
Are you crazy? Like the whole point of the lockdown is to make sure that number does not grow.
Yes.
It stays that small. There's no point in waiting until you have 2,000 who have infected another 2,000 who you are going to have difficulties tracing.
Where the states, we don't want to end up like the states.
Exactly.
So
the one mayor was so reporting on a case of one teenager that got infected attending a coronavirus party.
Yeah, they used to... I was watching videos. What do they have? This spring break.
Yeah.
So at the peak of this corona pandemic,
yeah,
it was also spring break, right? Yeah. Which is what the young kids look forward to.
Yeah.
And they were interviewing these kids. I'm talking about 19, 20, 21, 22-year-olds.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm not giving up my spring break.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have a good time.
Yeah. If the world is gonna end,
the world's gonna end. I might as well. I've been planning this for a year. Like I've always wanted to come, and like these kids were just like spring break. Like
Corona, I don't care.
Yeah,
Corona,
and I'm sure most of them are now infected.
Yeah, that's the problem, and now you have to deal with that kind of problem. Take away Kamboroto. Just negotiate with your landlord if you are unable to pay. Yeah, that is actually. I think. The conversation should actually already start there with you and your landlord. Already start having a conversation about how are we going to work out this rent thing, because I mean, if government does not decide to give the directive and just sort of leaves it to the prerogative of each landlord, for instance, maybe it's best that you start having the conversation early with your landlord. Anyway, Michael John Green saying, good morning, guys. Lovisa Ndeshihafela also joining the show. Rian Stein, morning, Q and Maria. Upi Shavionja, good morning, welcome to the show. If we take our tests to South Africa, what does NIP do? NIP is testing only Pathcare, the private... What's the word? My brain is not functioning properly this morning.
What are you trying to say?
The private doctors.
Yeah, Pathcare is
yes,
private. Usually have to go through a doctor referral letter, and NIP is testing based on like the toll-free number and calls that they're receiving to test. So they have the mandate to test, and that's for free.
Fee Brooks saying good morning from the UK. Robert Ngidipo, have you guys made a research on the 5G network? Not yet. Actually, you were supposed to send me some stuff, man. Robert, let me inbox you now so you can WhatsApp it to me. Yeah, I'll inbox you my digits. You can send it to me via WhatsApp. But anyway, Bernard Lowe, absolutely. I'm in UK, and for masks and hand wash are the only things that's helping us. I work in the hospital. That is interesting. You work in a hospital in the UK. I would really like to hear what the situation really is like over there. Mutatio Carstens, good morning, Maria. Good morning, Cubase. I wonder what I should do with the person who is living in my house. Please advise. Which person living in your house? How did they come? How did they end up living in your house?
Talking about a partner or something.
Yeah, or is it those situations where your wife is on the farm and now your Kamboroto has been quarantined with you and you don't know how to get rid of before the news comes out? All right, Saks Tiofen and Nyemba, you pay or you move out. I'm not the cause of corona, so I get nothing from the government.
Yeah, no, that's probably what's going to happen.
That is an opinion that is out there. Trust me. It may seem funny to hear it now, but it is an opinion. Some people will be talking to their landlords and they will tell them, it's like, you pay or you move out. But then should there be sort of a consequence for somebody who does that?
But you're not protected by the law. It's not like in the States. In the States, you actually can't throw out a tenant like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Our rental
it's not really
regulated.
It's not regulated. Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. But I would like, government to take some or other stance on the issue. So we know how to proceed going forward. John Shombe fair me au. Kakoro Erastus Opa. Good morning. Watching from Rundu, it's said how the world can change just in the blink of an eye. It's amazing because I've been thinking to myself, post-coronavirus, what is this world going to look like? Right? Because now we have noticed how fragile our system is, especially with so many people living paycheck to paycheck, so many people renting and not living in their own spaces. So anything at all that happens that sort of disrupts the economic activity of any country is going to cause havoc. So maybe we should start rethinking our way of life. Maybe. We'll see. The post-coronavirus. Are you able to get any relief from the fund? Or the 8.1 billion fund? Right now, I don't think it's we can really speak with any authority as to who can get and who cannot get.
No. It's been very clear who can and who can't. It's like below a certain threshold. You understand? You with your job that pay tax, you're not gonna get that. It's.
Yeah, but I'm also taking a hit. What do you mean I'm not getting?
Everybody's taking.
Yeah,
a hit.
That's why
that's
we should figure out how to help everybody.
Yes, but they're not. They're figuring out how to help those that are in critical need. There's levels to this thing. Your hit is not the same as that person that has to go out. You're getting a salary, for example.
Yes.
Right? You're not like that person that has to sell those tomatoes to put bread on the table.
Yes.
That person that can no longer sell those tomatoes or those onions by the street corner, they are the priority. You that get your salary, but you are relying on your side hustle. So now you can't do the other things you wanted, but your salary came in. You not even just a salary, a full salary at that. Yes, of course you took a hit because it's coronavirus, but you're not the priority. So Trustco, for example, would be the priority. That, for example, that has to retrench people.
Yes, so they can stay afloat instead.
So they can stay afloat
instead of letting a lot of people go.
Yes, they would be a priority. The informal vendor, for example, would be a priority. The lady that cleans houses but is working on like a commission but can no longer, for example, for whatever reason, she might, get that. Grant, you not so much, Cubase.
No, like me personally, I'm not complaining, but I'm just thinking because a lot of people look for instance for the lady who takes the hit in the sense that she's not selling her produce anymore, which means she can't put food on the table. Obviously, she's in a critical condition, but then what is critical to her and critical to me are completely different. For instance, I could be in a situation where I might lose my house.
Yes.
For instance.
Yes.
Which is also critical.
But that's what I'm saying. That is a different ego. That's not the problem of necessarily government. Now the institutions like the banks and whatever, they have to come together and see what relief they can give.
Okay.
For example, I was saying, how private schools, just an example. If government, for example, Ministry of Education can subsidize the salaries of private schools, so at least the salaries covered, then the private schools, for example, will be in a position to say, okay, let's just cut it by half, the school fees by half for the rest of the year until we start off next year, to give people time. It's just I'm saying, but something has to give. Banks would have to say realistically, we're going to give you like a relief, like even if it's just on taxes, like drastic relief. And then your landlord says, you know what, I'm not paying that interest rate that was exorbitant. So instead of paying me the 6,000, I only have to pay to the bank 3,000 now. So give me that 3,000 and we can work it out. So everybody
then-
has
but
to come to the table.
Then it's a
and negotiate.
conversation that we need to start having. It seems like, I guess nobody wants to take the first step. Obviously, the banks did announce that they're going to give some form of holiday to some of their clients.
What-
I think Bank Pentuk was the one.
Yeah,
who kicked it
yeah.
out first.
I mean, even BON. I mean, the thing is, look, what I generally find with that sector is that they have to first see a hit. They first take a knock, then they come up with solution. So for now, I don't think it's something they would think about because they still expect like money would be coming in. Tenants, I mean, landlords are worried, but they still are hoping they've got good tenants that will pay, for example, their rent. So it's only after, let's say, 2 or 3 months, like unpaid rent, and let's say everybody's taking a knocking with the landlords, that they then approach the banks and say, guys, and then the bank realizes that there's a fundamental problem, like all the landlords are coming in asking for, and then only. So I generally find like people are not proactive in
They're
this.
reactive,
They're reactive.
yeah.
They're very reactive. So we'll see how it goes.
I think
We can only hope for the best. Really.
nobody wants to make that first move.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let me check out what you guys have to say. Once again, Dino Ramos, we keep hearing about MTC donations. Meanwhile, the multi-billion-dollar making Trustco is silent. Van Rooyen, when are you going to play your part? We haven't retrenched anybody. And all Trustco staff are still getting paid their full salaries, even though all of them are sitting at home. By the way, guys, MTC is a parastatal. So stop.
Partly, yeah.
It's parastatal. Even Minister Jooste
Even
announced
telecom,
it.
yeah.
Yes, even telecom, even MultiChoice is a parastatal. It's a state-owned enterprise. You cannot compare this to some privately owned businesses.
And MTC is really not comparable because you still need your network and your phone and
Exactly.
whatever.
You are actually making MTC money by watching the show right now.
Yeah. You kind of are. Or telecom, but they're
Yes, most of you are probably MTC. But in any case, Joseph Ndauvako. But I honestly believe we are just disinclined by nature, all right? All of a sudden, UNAM is making hand sanitizers for its community. What have they been waiting for, all right? We waited for COVID-19 for us to act. We are playing a catch-up game. What else can we manufacture? We are a nation suffering from what's referred to as a dependent disorder. Everything South African made, imported, and it's being resistant to changes that cause most of our human suffering. Hopefully, we will learn a lot from this crisis. Hopefully. Our manufacturing industry does really need, to be ramped up. But these things also require money. They require expertise, which are not always available sometimes. So, yeah. If you have the money, you can invest in a hand sanitizer company. We will buy your hand sanitizer made in Namibia. We don't have a problem. Joel Amukeshe, all the way from Roshpina. Thank you for joining. Robert Gidipo. Since we all don't know we are infected, it's best we use masks. Or just stay at home. If you're going to get sick at home. I mean, in 21 days, if you did have the virus, it should have probably cleared by then, unless you need serious medical attention. Then we can easily identify who's infected and who's not. Anyway, Kaloi Shumwa. Good morning. What's Social Security's part in us not working for 30 days? That is actually something interesting. I've also been wondering, does Social Security come into play here at all?
I think, I've seen calls that they should, but they're still quiet, so we don't know.
All I know is they donated masks and something.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah, that's what everybody feels is the biggest need right now. Carmen Kaiser, really happy to hear our France ambassador is at home safe. Let our nation learn from him. No one is immune to this disease.
Yeah.
Yes, he's recovering. Vistorina Madila, morning team. I agree with the testing, but how many times will you test, and is it sustainable? All right. Yes, test, but more important, prevention is the best. So let's educate our people about the virus. Stick to the basics. This corona is huge. Yes, but like, I mean, testing is also important. Look, like in the flu season, for instance, right? Not that I'm comparing COVID-19 to influenza, but like during the flu season, once you get it once, normally you don't get it again. You get it once during that flu season, and then other people around you start getting it, and it goes around like that until somehow everybody has had it, and then flu season is gone.
Yeah, but I think what's her name? Who made that?
Vistorine.
Yeah, I think what Vistorine is saying is we seem to be so focused on saying let's test, but the truth of the matter is if we take
preventative causes,
preventative measures. Yes, we still test, but then there wouldn't be so much focus on it. Like, just everybody do your part, take safety measures, stay at home, and there wouldn't be such a burden and heavy burden on the testing labs, you know. And I think that's what she's implying, unless I've misunderstood.
Understandable. Carmen Kaiser, I just feel no one was supposed to move from where they were. No alert, nothing. Just lockdown. Boom.
Didn't Uganda do that?
Yeah. Through to that, when China locked down, the whole world was seriously supposed to lock down. Okay. I guess it's an opinion. But, you know, it also creates like a logistical nightmare. Because imagine if I told you now, okay, we are locking down as of lunch today. The country is in lockdown. And you live in, for instance, Marienthal, and you were just in Windhoek. You came this morning and you have this appointment in the afternoon, and you have all of that and all of this and all of that. I guess the notice was sort of to give people time to reschedule stuff. Some people obviously ran to the stores to go panic buy and stuff like that. So can you imagine being stuck in your house, not having bought the food that you're going to need?
But they said the shops are not going to close.
But nobody understands that, seemingly.
The shops are still open till today. No shop is closed.
And also, here's the other problem. We all, the bulk of us, only have money around the same time.
That's the other issue.
Yes, they're from the 25th to the 4th there. That's when everybody has money. So that's the time that everybody wants to flock to go buy also. Anyway, we're going to read some more comments. So Paulus Kunduka, good morning, Mr. and Mrs. in the radio station. Good morning to you. Tena Nambwa, morning crew, long time. This lockdown is really putting strains on us, especially the taxis. How's Keetmanshoop looking like? You guys are not in a complete lockdown yet, so yeah, give us an update. I think you're in Keetmanshoop, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, anyway, Lucas Peyomunu. Is that how you say that, Xylem? Good morning, watching from the sea. Which sea? Ndeshi Peti Peti Ndobe. I suggest Hage's next conference should use your mic. What, was the sound not clear when they were having a press conference? There was a press conference yesterday, right? Jolly Makabanyane. Good morning, guys. Does anyone know whether we can now take a shower or still only washing hands? So you've only been washing your hands this whole time. You haven't taken a shower. Jalamak made it lie. This is why I enjoy sitting here in the morning. Joe Amwele. Good morning, guys. Dr. Bernard Haufiku stated on NBC Live that NIP only has 200 testing kits. And only people who have been exposed to infected persons will be tested. Health Minister Dr. Shangula? Why? It's not Dr. Shalumbu. Who's Dr. Shalumbu? Dr. Shangula stated so far over 40 people have been tested.
Yeah, but yesterday's conference.
You remember what I was saying about the numbers?
Yeah.
The science of numbers is irrefutable, and something does not stack up. There's too many discrepancies. But in any case, we're going to go with the information that we have. We're not going to dwell on conspiracy theories. Tena Nambwa, the money that the government allocated, who are getting it? Do taxi drivers qualify? You guys are most apparently still driving. You are still operating, so even though your customers have been forced to stay at home. your business is still open.
Yeah, I think they can only take 2 people in a taxi, right?
Being stopped, Jongens, is like if you have too many people in your car, you have to not even you have to explain. They have to get off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Verens Garap, but the Kapana guy was making more than me.
Yeah.
That is a good point. Like, he's informal, but he makes more money than me every month.
Yeah.
So, but then he qualifies for the grant and I don't. Hey, this is going to be an interesting conversation once we start having it. Cubase, you are not getting my comments. On Skray Swarir and Kietmanswap, that Neville, we miss you in the studio. I don't. I don't miss him.
Wasn't he here yesterday?
Yeah, he was here yesterday. But I don't think that I was here. I didn't see your comments yesterday unless you were watching in silence.
Yeah. He'll be here tomorrow.
Bridget Leipert, are you related to the former Miss Namibia? Peeps, we need to do aggressive testing. I'm kind of scared the numbers could be more. Anything regarding rent holidays. Yeah, we have been beating that horse like this whole week. Honestly, I still have. We can't get tired now. We can't afford to, because if we decide we get tired of it, then.
No, it's not that. What I'm saying is, realistically, right, at some point also, I think today's dailies, if you count all the stories, I think New Era had the most stories on COVID. I think maybe 9 stories, 10. And then I maybe on at 3 or 4, whatever. But like today's daily papers, in excess of 20 stories put together on COVID-19. And it's okay, I get it. But like, I mean,
if we relent, then sort of we inadvertently send out the message that, maybe this thing is not such a big deal anymore.
No, it is a big deal. But what I'm saying is, it also, number one, I feel like it feeds into the panic.
Yeah.
You understand? It really does. Every time a new case is announced, I mean, the number of comments I see, oh my God, we're screwed. Oh, we're all going to die. Like, those are the comments every time a new case is announced. So there's definitely a panic mode there. And it's not about saying we shouldn't inform the nation. Of course, with everything that's happening, people should be alert. But you also, like, I think a coping mechanism is to focus on better days. Think about something else. Like, if we're so focused on this thing, like,
it's driving me crazy, but I can't help it. It's like, honestly, even now, I'm tired of talking about COVID-19, but then everything else that I try to talk about, it somehow just leads back to the coronavirus.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that it is a very integral and, part of our lives at this point. But like I said, I mean, surely we should be a little bit more creative. And I'm not talking even about us on air. I'm just talking about even in the day-to-day.
In general, yeah.
Can't be like in your household, outside, every day.
We watch the NBC's news ratings are probably the highest they've ever been in their whole life.
Yeah.
Only a few more comments to get through. Jeremiah and Tanelo. Kiwanwa. We in Kietmanswap are not in complete lockdown, but completely adhering to the policies and regulations put in place. And hot.
That's good.
Kietmans is always hot. That's very good, yes. A hand for you guys. Nosha Toiba Kapapilo, good morning, crew. In my opinion, life post-corona will be very disturbing economic-wise. All right, companies that was living on the edge will find reasons to liquidate. Some companies that had their workforce reduced to take care of operations will find an opportunity to restructure their operations since they got an idea on what number of employees they need to function, right? Many companies will be cooking books to file losses. Food and the other commodities will be expensive for a while. Some companies will find a reason to change their portfolios. Employees and companies will be creative on justifying the working at home since this period have proved it. All right, I hope the banks will relax their rules on loan applications because banks will be flooded the day lockdown ends. Stay at home and keep washing your hands, people.
Yeah.
Right? Interesting analysis. Fabianus Narip, morning. I believe the government is not serious with the lockdown. For example, I'm in lockdown with the kids, but my wife has been working ever since. Does it really help? I think total lockdown is the way to go. I think that is the direction Italy eventually decided to go. But then, I mean, initially, there has to be some activity in the country, in the economy. For instance, like your health professionals, your security staff, like your police.
Yeah, they're called essential services.
Yes, some of these guys, like me, my kids are at home, also in quarantine, but here I am.
Yeah, as the people working in the shops.
Yeah. When you have to go buy some bread or whatever it is that you need for your house, that person who's standing there does not live there. They also left a family at home.
Yeah.
But they're there to provide a service. Tena is saying yes. No, wait. This one. Joe Thomas to your learning. How about people that are working on commission basis like insurance companies? How now? For instance, like the sales guys who do not have a basic salary but only get paid on commission.
Yeah, or even sales.
Those probably would be the guys that that would benefit from the fund, from government. Yeah. Tena Nambwa, yes, I'm in Keetmanshoop. The town feels like a ghost town. Never seen it like this quite since I've been living here in Keetmanshoop for 25 years. It looks like that everywhere. Okay, there is a little bit of activity here in Windhoek, but for the most part, it looks dead. Faith Sama Kamchamus. Oh, the grant was just supposed to be for everyone, whether you're working or not. Some people work for the whole month and just get 700 month end. Imagine. And please do speak on disturbing food for or distributing food for needy. We have needy people in Okahanya.
We have needy people everywhere.
Yes, needy people everywhere. I think they said the food bank is still Anichang. So I don't know if that maybe is going to be ramped up to try and sort of take care of that, delivering food to the people who really need it the most. Meneer Neville Basson apparently joining the stream this morning. Meria, Jelek Nayo.
Klik altyd no.
Stays Neville Day. Someone's not Neville Bies. Stalin K. Morning, my guy. Welcome to the show. Hosea Shikongo, morning crew. Those Kapana guys make more money. Some, they have 2 to 3 cars, but you can't compare them with who works in a retail. The government must make a research on that. It's going but look, the one thing that I know is for certain not going to happen. Government is not going to be able to match everybody's income because there's like there's so many. There's such a huge difference in some cases in how much people earn on a monthly basis, whether you're self-employed or you're employed, formally employed or whatever.
Yeah.
So, like I think maybe the presidency is working on some forum to sit and discuss how exactly this money is going to go about. But I know one way or the other, somebody is not going to be happy. That much I can tell you now. Gertrude Mwahi, I do not watch anything that have to do with Corona anymore. It's getting too much and annoying now.
I feel you.
We feel that way too, but unfortunately some people still need to be educated. And those are the ones who are a threat to all of us. Like they say, we need to pay attention to the ones who are not paying attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even if we fight off the virus, those are the guys who are going to continue spreading it unknowingly. Ivy, good morning, girl. I see you are joining the show this morning. It's been a while, actually. How are things looking wherever it is that you're finding yourself in this world? But in any case, those are the comments that I have. Never look comment, jy comment, no wil niemand anders comment nie. Play net by jy asseblief. All right, guys.
All right, we're out.
It's been a very, I don't know, like a very slow morning today.
Yeah, I need to be energized a little bit.
It's Thursday. I've got an idea for you. It's Thursday, so you know we've kind of gotten tired, and like we've been saying this whole week, it's not like we have new news to give you every morning, especially as far as the coronavirus cases here in Namibia. So
Well, today's new. 2 more cases. That's new.
yeah, but that's all you know is 2 more cases. They are both related to case number 9.
Yeah.
What else? We don't know. Yeah, but okay, guys, stay safe. Please stay at home. Keep washing your hands. Try not to touch your face. What? Wait, I had closed my comment. Like, apparently, there's a comment that I need to go see. So for the purposes of this,
Be safe.
oh. Okay, let me just read all the comments that I hear, all right? Bran Basquet saying they should give everyone $1 million. If you waste it, that's on you. Not in this world, my guy. Emily Dion Dapuka, good morning, Pa Neville. Miriam Kahuhuena saying be safe. You too, baby girl, you too. Emily Dion Dapuka, that is what I had been doing too. All right, guys. I think it's time for us to go now. It's really time for us to go. All right, enjoy the rest of the Thursday. We are back tomorrow morning. No, I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag, but we have a few surprises for you tomorrow morning, so just make sure you're here listening, all right? Stay safe and stay indoors.
Hello, boys and girls. We mentioned that you can stream us live.